your money on the line. Game number 2, MarineLorD versus Hera. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to it. Spawning in on the southeast side of the map, we've got MarineLorD in the color blue playing the Rus civilization, opening up with a hunting cabin, and his opponent, who spawns on the opposite side of the map, Hera, playing the Delhi Sultanate in the color red.
Hera opening up with that dock right away, knowing that he's the Delhi. There is basically no aggression that could prevent him from fishing at the beginning of this game. So the real question is how MarineLorD is going to approach this game. Opening up with a hunting cabin is a sign that he's not going to go for an early dock here. Instead, what he could do is something that Recon did against him on Danube River, and that is go full crazy on the hunting cabin and try to burn that dock down.
Oh, he's doing it. Look at this. And he's going to have the animation cancel in here as well to help him out. The only response that Hera needs right now is just make a lot of scouts, Hera. Make a lot of scouts. Try and get at least 1 or 2 fishing boats out. That should be able to try and hold on for you. But you need to get your scouts out here. You need to get them animation canceling ASAP.
Exactly. This is a difficult situation for Hera to be in, though, because he's very heavy on the lumberjacking department. So it's not like he's able to invest a lot of food into this. And of course, every single scout he makes is a villager sacrificed, unlike MarineLorD. And as you see, Hera doesn't have the wood right now for a fishing boat. So this is a great game plan for MarineLorD. He knows exactly that Hera needs a lot of time to get that fishing boat out. But I think the first boat is going to come out before the dock gets burned down. So the game plan here is nice for MarineLorD, but I don't think it's going to work out.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. I think once he gets that single fishing boat out, he's going to be okay. I wouldn't be surprised if Hera actually pulls a couple of villagers and looks to heal up this dock, make sure it gets down. Now we see the first villager going to be coming out. Hera looking to chase away this villager, or rather MarineLorD, and now that boat is going to come out, the fishing boat going to come out, and it looks like Hera probably going to be able to secure this position. We can see a couple sheep being trailed here as well, and unfortunately it does look like that villager is going to go down. Nice animation cancelling there from MarineLorD, and he manages to secure the kill on the villager. There she goes.
A scout will be traded for that will, but at this point that has to be satisfactory for MarineLorD. Right now he's got 4 scouts out versus 3, but as you said, with the fishing ships out, it's going to be impossible for those scouts to burn that dock down now. So the next thing that you can do is dispatch those scouts to take down huntables, because let's not forget, there is still huntables to take down over here, bounty to be gathered for MarineLorD. And of course, on this map you also have a ton of sheep to start with, so gathering sheep is also a quite significant factor.
Yeah, I think in this situation, MarineLorD is at a significant disadvantage. Hera at the moment is looking incredibly strong. He's managed to secure a foothold on the shoreline. He's managed to keep this dock up. And now we actually see MarineLorD beginning to wall up down towards the south, and this is going to tell Hera exactly what MarineLorD is up to. He is planning on expanding down in this direction, so you got to start paying attention down here. Keep your scout down here. You're looking for a dock, and if you see that dock beginning to come up for your opponent, then you need to send 2 or 3 villagers down as well and try and get that dock up on their side.
This is actually very similar to what MarineLorD did in the Confluence game against Viper. And we're going to have something very similar coming in here indeed. Vo's blocking the fishing ships from pushing through these. And these are actually fortified palisade walls, so they're even better than just standard palisades. Hera is coming in here with a scout though with animation cancel, so there's a chance that this dock gets denied.
Yeah, that's a really good point. He does have the scouts out to animation cancel. Doesn't look like... Okay, now he's doing it, so you can see the animation cancel. Have we got the health? Can we... Yeah, we can tracking it at the moment. 26 out of 50. Looks like he's going to have to retreat on this one. Falls back to the safety of his scouts, but he's just going to ignore the scouts of his enemy, and Hera is just going for the throat. He manages to take out the first of the sheep. Second sheep not taken out just yet, but Hera going to have to fall back. 16 health on that scout. If he turns back around, he's going to get double shot by those scouts and taken out completely. The dock does get up from MarineLorD, and he's going to be very happy with that.
44 fishing ships out here for Hera. Hera hasn't started mining gold yet, and one thing that you could still do here for MarineLorD is keep adding scouts from the hunting cabin and try to deny the gold mine of the opponent, because if you deny that gold income, there is no way for Hera to get up to feudal age. Looks like that's not something that MarineLorD is going to do, and this low HP villager might still get intercepted here by the 2 scouts arriving from Hera.
Yeah, you can see them coming in at Mark 3 right now. beelining for that villager. They're going to manage to get right on top of it. You can see the town center firing off. He's going to be losing a scout for it. Is it worth it? I reckon it probably is if he manages to keep the second one alive, but he's not going to, turning over all of the sheep to his opponent. And you really got to start wondering whether that was worth it. 2 scouts and all those sheep for a single villager. I'll take that trade. I'll take that trade.
I don't think it was that great. It's difficult to predict because we have to keep in mind that Hera, making those scouts, sacrificed his own villager production. So he sort of needed to kill villagers with those scouts in order to compensate for that. On the other hand, as you just said, a ton of sheep were donated for MarineLorD, so he's set with his food eco for the next 25 minutes. And now MarineLorD could intercept another villager here. Fishing ships helping out here. So for now, this should be able to get these walls up without problems.
Yeah, it looks like a wall going to come across this little pond, and I think Hera's going to just take the advantage that he's got in the early game, able to defend that dock, and we have another forward Kremlin coming down for MarineLorD this time. So this is going to be the 3rd Kremlin of the day that we are seeing right now, and this is where things start to get a little bit crazy.
It's one thing that this is the 3rd Kremlin of the day. This is the 3rd Kremlin of the year as well, because never before this day have we really seen this in tournaments. So at this point, that Kremlin coming up there, that could be quite concerning for Hera, especially because it's very difficult to get rid of it. It's not just like a standard tower, it's way more than that. It's a very powerful 5000 HP, so it's next to impossible for Hera to destroy that with fuel age units at this point.
The Kremlin meta is here, ladies and gentlemen. I've been looking forward to this for a long time, and I say that as a person who is not a Russian agent. The Kremlin meta is something that started out originally in AOE4. So back in the early days when the Rus came out, the Kremlin was the way that people typically went, and then it did eventually transition into the Golden Gate. Yeah, now it's sort of come back around towards the Kremlin.
The Kremlin at the beginning was really a useful landmark for the players starting to experiment with Rus because this was a great defensive structure. It was able to protect your gold mine, and in the early days, it was usually knights from the Rus. Being able to protect your gold mine was key, but speaking of that, here come the forces from MarineLorD to push away Hera from that gold mine, and that would delay the addition of those scholars as well.
Yeah, now keep in mind behind this, Hera's going to be very easily able to just move up the river. So he's not going to be too fast, but obviously he's also holding off that passage. There's a little passageway to get through. So he's looking to defend on that point, but we've got ourselves a little bit of a battle right now unfolding. Hera trying his best to keep his enemy off the gold mine. It looks like he's been able to take out one of the scouts. He's got the little stabby going on and forces back a couple of those scouts. They managed to chase off his own scout, which is down on quite low health. But now going to begin focusing down the villagers once again, doing the animation cancelling, and it looks like he's going to have to fall back from this position. So players at the moment, at least it looks like MarineLorD is looking to do a bit of damage here as he puts down a forward dock with a lot of villagers, and I don't think Hera was really paying attention to it.
Exactly, Hera needs to save his villagers, and the concerning thing for Hera right now is that his gold income is non-existent. So he's unable to access gold, which is going to mean that adding additional scholars could be troublesome, but the bigger problem is that adding combat ships will be troublesome, as the fishing boats are definitely nice over here, but once you got some Lodya attack ships coming in, those would just dominate the waters. First Dow coming in, and the moment you push away the fishing boats from this dock with a combat ship, the scouts can come in and burn it down. So this is a very nice combination of units here for MarineLorD. The scouts putting up the pressure on the gold mine, and then also providing a torch damage against the dock, and the Lodya attack ship pushing away the fishing ships defending the dock at this point.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough spot for Hera to be able to defend this. I got to say I like this play from MarineLorD, using the Kremlin as a foothold and then putting the dock right underneath it is very smart, but that Dow does come out now. That Dow going to be sitting underneath this dock, going to be able to get healed up. Got the fishing boats right next to it as well, going to be able to heal it up if it requires, but falling back towards this Kremlin, have a look and see what the range is on this Kremlin. I'm curious when it comes to its anti-ship attack. Looks like it's only 6 tiles. Now, he's got the upgrades for it, or at least it comes with the upgrades as standard. But 6 tiles doesn't seem like a lot, does it?
It's not a lot. I don't think it's even able to reach the fishing ships, but it's going to help protecting this dock from being burned down by those horsemen, for example. It's controlling this choke point, and once you get to Castle Age, you can get the Springbolt on it, which has 9 range, so there's definitely some positives with that. So far, 2 Lodya attack ships contesting the waters. Now that MarineLorD is in feudal age, he could technically delete his walls and pull his fishing ships getting converted into combat ships and just push this side. The most important thing, though, is that Hera constantly has to relocate his fishing eco, whereas MarineLorD's one is completely untouched.
Yeah, that's a really good point. The fact that he's able, or he's forced to sort of go up the river here, you can see he's losing quite a few units here, but now those Dows going to continue coming out. How many Dows does he have out at the moment? It looks like 2 or is it 3 behind there? It's always so hard to tell with these fishing boats. They look so similar. They're only very slightly smaller than the actual Dows, and they are carrying fish. That's one of the key differences between the Dows and the fishing boats. But it looks like there's a bit of action down towards the south as well, whilst we've got this fight underway up towards the north. We'll have a look down there and see what's happening. It looks like some horsemen meeting up with a knight or an early knight, trying their best to break through there and do some damage down on this dock. Not having a whole lot of luck, though. The scouts and the knight holding quite strong.
Indeed. MarineLorD having to invest into that knight is actually troublesome for him because he's got the food to go up to castle, but he doesn't have the gold. So making gold units is not necessarily ideal for him at this point, and since he doesn't have the golden gate, he's not gonna be able to just sell resources to go up. He's gonna have to mine all that gold, but he's burning down the first dock over here, and he's ready to push up the river very soon. I kind of feel like this is looking great for MarineLorD at this point.
Yeah, I feel the same way. The fact that he's able to force his opponent into such a position, it really looks good, because behind this, his economy is absolutely fine. We are able to see that he's got 1,300 food stacked up. But keep in mind, he has gone for the Kremlin early. It means that he doesn't have those tickets available. He's not going to be able to sell out that food or that wood for any gold, potentially. He's going to have to sit around with it. He's going to have to actually build a market and do it the good old-fashioned way, like we used to do back in the good old days.
Now, looking at Hera, though, he's getting close to Castle Age as well, and his eco is a lot more well-balanced, but he doesn't have a great answer to the Knights right now, aside from a couple of defensive towers that he's just now making. No barracks for Spearmen whatsoever, so right now, all he can do is horseman defense, and as you see, his lumberjacks are now all idled, which is going to make it difficult to replenish those Dows.
Yeah, this is where it becomes very difficult for Hera. MarineLorD doing a really decent job here of sticking down on this foothold, and you can see the military forces that he's got out here at this point in time going to begin working on sieging down that palisade wall. We're going to take some time to get through it because there's so many segments here as well, and that's going to be providing line of sight. But now we've got Hera going up to the next age, dropping down the House of Learning, so opting away from that compound of the Defender. I'm curious as to see how far along MarineLorD is, and we can see he's actually more than halfway, about 65% at the moment. Abbey of the Trinity going to be the way that he goes. 13 villages on that bad boy. What's the relic situation looking like? We've got 3 on the side of MarineLorD, 2 on the side of Hera. Most of these are pretty central, with the exception of one that's very close to MarineLorD's base. Hera's got one pretty close to his base as well. And then the other 3 are all sort of like just down the bottom of the map, aren't they?
Exactly. It definitely helps MarineLorD that he's got 3 on his side, and it also helps that one of them are right next to the river, so he sort of has 4 under his control right now, as we saw a couple of fishing ships converted into additional combat vessels, so really, now he's breaking his walls, and he's ready to steamroll the fishing eco of Hera. If he gets to Castle Age, a couple of demolition ships here in such narrow quarters could also come into play.
Yeah, this could be a really difficult situation for the player that loses water. When it comes to demo ships, there is a huge potential for them. And speaking of potential, we got counted down 2-1. The demo ships beginning to pop out. There they come from behind. He's going to be able to get this one off and trying his best to wedge it in there. Manages to take out 2 of the Lodger attack ships. The Dow's now beginning to chase down the remaining Lodger attack ships. You can see them focusing down the villager. Not having a lot of luck, but that was beautiful timing right there on the demo ship for Hera, doing a great job.
That was a beautiful timing indeed. He's got another demo coming in. Behind this one, so far Hera is able to horse off the knights of his opponent. As things stand though, the Lodger ship numbers are looking way better for MarineLorD. He can just convert his fishing eco into combat vessels at this point, and that's exactly what he's doing. Another demo coming in for Hera.
Yeah, Hera looking pretty decent at the moment. The explosive Dow coming out and just getting repaired by the dock and not really sitting there, but manages to dodge all of those. MarineLorD picking up a pretty decent trade right there, and he's looking quite good.
He is looking very, very good at this point, especially because his own demolition ships could easily take down that one dock that's remaining for Hera. Hera's fishing eco is gone. MarineLorD still has quite a lot of fishing eco working for him. And
Wow.
as the map is going to start running low on berries, hunts, whatsoever, that fishing eco is going to help delaying your farm transition. Hera bringing back one relic right now. MarineLorD also working towards those relics. He hasn't collected the one up north. I think he has to start with this sort of. And you see, some of the combat vessels from MarineLorD were converted back into fishing ships because he knows that he has won water, so might as well go for some fishing vessels. But Hera crossing the river with a superior force compared to MarineLorD's one.
Yeah, pretty smart move from him here. I love the fact that he's just turned it back into fishing boats, knowing that he's going to be able to win the water. And so he figures, why the heck do I need all those attack ships? I can just turn them back into fishing boats. So smart move from him. But in this situation, you've got relics now that are beginning to get taken. We saw that first one getting taken up towards the north of the map. Are there any warrior monks out for MarineLorD at this point?
There should be, but we're not seeing any, which is a little surprising because he had his window to potentially take this one as well. And as things stand, Hera's gonna start picking up those relics. I kind of get the feel that despite the fact that the MarineLorD has the water right now, demolition ship now popping out. Well,
It trades it for one. Not terrible. But yeah, keep in mind these demo ships, these aren't the upgraded ones. The upgraded ones are the ones that, I mean, technically they're not bugged. They're just absolutely busted. But, I mean, they're so busted you could probably call them bugged. But yeah, once they get the explosives upgrade, that's when things get really serious. But MarineLorD now looking pretty decent at this point in time. He's got a significant water economy. What are the differences between these two guys when it comes to their respective village accounts?
it is 69 for MarineLorD, nice, versus 47 from Hera. Hera, on the other hand, has been trickling in demos to sink some of those ships. Right now, MarineLorD has the better eco, but he also has to be careful about those demos coming in. Now it is a bug law hitting the field, so Hera doesn't want to give up on the water just yet. Also brings back the relics. He already has one relic back at home, and the second one is coming in. Whereas MarineLorD hasn't started picking up relics yet. Ship converted into demolition ship to try and sink that army, but that's just going to be a little too late here.
Yeah, it's so tough, isn't it, going up against these Rus players, because you're looking at that and you're like, yeah, that's not a threat to me, that's a fishing boat, and then BAM! It's an explosive down. It explodes right in your face. So, yeah, it can be really tough going up against these Rus guys, but I think what we're starting to see, or what we're seeing from MarineLorD, is the fact that we don't have these tickets coming through on the gold gate means it's much more difficult for him to actually trade out his resources for gold to be able to afford to buy those warrior monks. So you can see he's having a bit of a difficult time with gold. He's got 15 villagers on it as Rus at the moment. Now we've got ourselves a little bit of a fight over towards the south side of Hera's base, and Hera, unfortunately, going to be losing a fair few units there. MarineLorD on the other side of it, coming out ahead.
Hera has the House of Learning going for him, but nothing is being researched on it, including Own Blades, which had its research time reduced in the recent patch. So, despite the fact that Landmark is there and Own Blades probably could have even been finished, that's not something that's coming in, and that's making those knights considerably weaker than they could possibly be.
Yeah, I'm curious to see exactly how many upgrades he's got behind this. I'm fearful that he's forgotten to drop down that House of Learning and the technology upgrades that come with it. But what else has he forgotten? Has he forgotten things like Wheelbarrow? Finally queuing up each of those technologies right now. Looks like he's going to be able to hold on just in this little area, managing to clean up the forces of his opponent. But are we able to see? So yeah, he doesn't have the tier 2 coming through. Oh my lord, look at all the dead villagers on the ground right there. That ain't pretty. A whole bunch of idols here. Has he got specialized pick coming through just yet?
Well,
are we able to check the mining camp? Yeah, there we go. Acid distillation still not coming through. Let's have a look at the mill as well. What about the mill? Has he remembered to get his upgrades for that? Okay, looks like he's got horticulture coming through. No fertilization just yet.
he's got decent-ish upgrades, although not spectacular. The problem is that his population is looking very ugly. Only 55 villagers at this point. As he was looking at all those upgrades, he just got his lumberjacks raided, and behind this one, MarineLorD still has a completely untouched fishing eco, so we're talking about 80 villagers as opposed to 42. It's double the villager count right now. For MarineLorD, a couple of additional villagers will be taken down here from Hera, and really, at this point, Hera's population is looking very, very disappointing.
Yeah, this is a really tough position right now for Hera. He is getting absolutely run around by MarineLorD. There's just units in his base everywhere. And yeah, he's having a tough time holding on. It really comes down to the fact that he allowed MarineLorD to maintain that presence on water. But I think what MarineLorD did was actually very smart. The fact that he was able to build up that early mass of scouts meant that he would have been able to deny any subsequent attempts for a forward dock to come up. And even if that dock did come up, I suspect that he probably would have been able to take it out with the scout numbers that he had. So it means that that he was basically 100% safe on getting water control. And I theorize that that was why he was happy picking the Rus in this matchup on this map.
And now tower is being burnt down by the Spearman. MarineLorD's forces aren't looking spectacular, but he's got such a gigantic economy advantage at this point, and he's got the rivers, so even if Hera cleans these forces up over here inside his base, counterattacking is just a distant dream, because any moment a demolition ship could pop out. For now, that's just one attack ship, but so many spearmen nearby as well, and I think MarineLorD is getting a conversion into demo ship soon.
Yeah, this isn't going to be pretty if that manages to pop off. Yeah, MarineLorD definitely looking victorious at this point in time, looking very strong. We see him beginning to add in men-at-arms, and Hera, by the same token, beginning to improve his numbers of crossbows, but at the same time going up against the military numbers that MarineLorD is throwing about. It's going to be always difficult going up against such a larger force, considering how many villages are actually powering it out.
Indeed, and there is just a constant flood of spearmen coming out now because MarineLorD is realizing that Hera is making crossbowmen and some knights, so the spearman is a great solution to deal with both. Secret sites are now both under the control of MarineLorD as well. That's not gonna be that big factor when it comes to the sacred site victory. It's more about the gold income at this point, and it's about the fact that Hera is just unable to recover, and his villager count is just falling lower and lower at this point.
So he's down to 39 villagers at the moment, 38 villagers now. He's continuing to lose villagers every second that goes on. He manages to hold on for a brief moment, but keep in mind behind this, his opponent continues to have a beautiful water economy, having a wonderful land economy, got the double sacred sites in. How many of those relics has he managed to capture as well? So I can see 2 right there. He managed to secure 3 of the relics, so he's got a passive gold right now of 500 gold a minute, including those sacred sites. He's doing incredibly well right now, MarineLorD. I don't think there's any way he can lose this game.
Exactly. There is like a 6 times difference when it comes to the food economy of the 2 players. And Hera, he will at some point deplete the berries, deplete the carcasses, whereas there's just so much fish left in this river still. Like, this amount of food here for MarineLorD will last for another 50 minutes. So he won't have to add a single farm here, whereas for Hera, at some point his alternative source of food will be depleted. And MarineLorD has started that countdown, so Hera needs to neutralize one of those sacred sites in a little less than 10 minutes from now.
This is such a smart play by MarineLorD. I've really enjoyed watching this game. He's demonstrated to me just how powerful the Rus can be in these situations and how he's able to outsmart the Delhi Sultanate player. Typically in this situation, I would have expected Hera to win every single time in this matchup. But today, I mean, MarineLorD has been absolutely flawless in the way that he's played this game, and he's secured the victory with Hera tapping out there. So now, evening up the series, 1-1, MarineLorD takes it through to game number 3, and we are on for quite the set here, Lidakor.
Indeed, we are. Hera went for the meta pick, the Delhi Sultanate, and the moment you saw MarineLorD picking the Rus here, it was obvious that he needs to pull something out of the box. Not something spectacular, but this is not necessarily something that you see every day, Rus being picked on this map against Delhi, whenever Rus could be picked on alternative maps as well. But really, the key thing here for MarineLorD was that, as you said, he was able to maintain his fishing eco throughout this entire game, so he never really got pushed. I don't think that Hera was able to take down a single fishing ship from his opponent, and that just translated into such a gigantic army lead that, like, by minute 17, we were talking about 46 army against 15. MarineLorD secures the river, so Hera wasn't able to launch a counterattack with knights and get some damage done on the villagers because there were demolition ships and attack ships guarding all choke points. So having that water control in the hands of MarineLorD worked out perfectly. And really, this Rus ability to control these rivers is immensely valuable. And we have seen that multiple times today, not just on this map, but other hybrid maps. Being able to convert your fishing ships into combat ships whenever needed is just immensely valuable. And MarineLorD has shown that in this game as well.
I'm just going to point out at this point, Lidakor, the Kremlin is undefeated. We've seen it 3 times today. It's won every single time.
Yep.
Can't say that for the Golden Gate. Can't say that for the Golden Gate, can you?
That is indeed a good point. And, well, that is because the Kremlin is a good landmark. It is actually a very reasonable and good landmark. It's just about the fact that the Golden Gate has been a lot more versatile, and it just was so well streamlined into the fast castle build of the Rus that so far, in the last 2 months, we have only seen the Golden Gate being utilized, not because the Kremlin was bad, it's just because the Golden Gate was better in certain situations.